consciously eating.
Another day, another video, and today we're gonna take a look at games which were played in week 3 between derStef and GuyInChat. And actually we have the team leader from GuyInChat here with us today taking a look at the games. Hello Slammer.
Hello, thanks for having me on the cast here. I've been following your videos closely, consciously, every match.
Alright.
I was telling Atani the other day I really have been enjoying the league talks as well. Those have been fun.
Nice.
Getting you guys' takes on everything.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I think Itano's takes are more, I don't know, more knowledge behind it. And I just go by the numbers and my experience with the players so far. So yeah, but appreciate it. Thanks for the great feedback. In general, I think people kind of like it. Going into this match and series, what were your thoughts like before the matches were played? I mean, you know the outcome already. But
Yeah.
what do you think? Like, you thought it's 50-50, or you kind of trained GuyInChat to do certain stuff, or what's their maybe you prepared for their stuff in general?
So no, I have not. I didn't prep anything with Guy. I'm not sure exactly because the rest of my team actually have been training more than I have, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I know Guinness has been working with people. B Sherm has been grinding. So a lot of my players have been kind of training. We have a little Discord we have set up.
Nice.
So I'm not sure what kind of work was put in by Guy here. I thought this was about a 50-50. derStef is a decent player. He's got decent macro, but I do find his game to be pretty one-dimensional and not very sophisticated from my experience.
Can you elaborate? Like, is he always playing Rex, or?
Yeah, the games I've played against him, he's only played Rex, and he's played a very, like, archer, soldier, not a whole lot else kind of style.
Okay.
And I found he struggled against... I've also found he likes to just YOLO. Like, he'll just send units across the map.
Okay.
And that can be scary because not many people play that way. But once you kind of understand it, and you kind of just counter that, and if you kill one of his pushes, he doesn't really have the follow-up. Just kind of some initial thoughts. But then again, you know, that's everyone who's playing right now are evolving.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So like, you know, you play someone on ladder 2 weeks ago, and they could be playing a completely different style and have completely evolved or gotten coaching. I mean, Beatflitz's team I know has, you know, been pretty serious with coaching and practice. So, yeah, the other thought I had about this game is I was really hoping that Guy would have a better showing. I think up to this match he got 0-2'd both weeks, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I have to check that.
I think he lost to Glaba, and then he lost to... who else did he play? I think one of Square Root's players, Gandhi, I believe it was. So... And some of the games were a little ugly, and I felt like he was not really showing his full, like, potential in those games. So I was hoping... But given that, I was a little worried that this would be a little bit of a tough match, because I do know derStef is a good macro player. But yeah, I was hoping that Guy would show something here, because I know he's a good player. I've played with him. I know he has a lot to show, so wanted him to see him step up a little more.
Yeah, so far I think killing a worker and an archer from Stef and losing a raider for it is okay. Not great, but okay, I think. So yeah, I don't know. So far I think derStef is just one step ahead, just a tiny bit ahead, because he will have his castle up earlier. Oh no, in general. Oh, GuyInChat actually has the castle up. Okay, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I think derStef is playing. I mean, he's got this second barracks pretty quick, so he kind of sacrificed a little bit to get this barracks up, and I think he cut his castle. But also the worker count's 15-12, so one worker lost, but GuyInChat already has a 2-worker advantage.
Yeah, which is great. Because I think in Rex Mirror you want to have the third very early, or in general as early as possible.
Yep.
So yeah, having more workers is good. But GuyInChat I think will not take a third. Look at this. He's putting down 2 dens. You got any idea what he's up to with this stuff? I mean, it looks kind of like a heavy build or heavy game.
Yeah, this style seems to have been gaining popularity. I haven't messed around with it a lot. So I'm not sure whether he's going for a two-base all-in type play, or whether this is just kind of a defensive, and then it looks like I see the worker going. He's going to take the bears. I've experimented with 3 to 4 den archer wolf kind of all-ins on two base to punish fast third bases. Had some mixed success with it.
Okay.
And I've kind of gone away with it, but I don't think many people go for that. I think this is just kind of macro play from Guy.
Ah, I see. So the plan would be to go into a longer game and have werewolves in the long run, coupled with archers then, I think, and maybe some catapults even. I don't know.
I think he just wants to get into a beast play. I think Guy, he's more of a beast player than a Rax player. I think he just uses the raiders as a bridge into just playing straight up beast.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like indeed like heavy, or Square Root is even doing it. Interesting. So I haven't done that as well. Oh no, I haven't done it so far. I stick to my guns and I transition if I transition into mech, but maybe I start doing that because usually for me wolves are just, I don't know. I don't feel like wolves are that great. But I guess if you want to have a longer game and you want to really go into the beast route of things with dragons and snakes even and werewolves and whatnot.
Yeah. By the way, remember what I said about derStef?
Yeah.
Doing
I see it.
Absolutely crazy things. Like this is just insane move out.
Yeah.
In my view, I know some players do this more than I do, but to me, moving out with 12 archers into unknown. I mean, if you're playing Rax, okay, let me take this back. If you're playing Beast, this is absolute insanity. If you're playing Rax, you can get away with it because your archers are as fast as his units. So if you run into trouble, you just run away. But against Wolves, this is just gonna get eaten.
Yeah.
As long as Guy shouldn't engage too early. He doesn't want to engage too early. He wants to buy some time here, get a few more units out. And once he has enough wolves,
I think he's just doing that. Nice. It's like you're telling him right now, and he's listening. So he's waiting a bit. So and also pulling back the worker, the wolves a bit. That's nice.
Yeah. And this is where derStef's. I'm talking about that technical play. A good player runs away here because he knows he's about to die if he stays too long.
Yeah.
But derStef, he's not going to do that. He's just going to say, okay, are you good enough to beat me, or can I just bulldoze you? That's kind of what his game plan is.
Yeah, and the 4 raiders coming in not really helping because there are 2 raiders chipping down on them. So yeah.
I will say, I wish he was building more archers here. I think he cut archers a little bit, and I think he engaged a little too soon with the wolves. But he did buy time for the towers, and now that he has the towers out, he's kind of got an anchor here.
Yeah. And also, Stef cannot move up because the other tower is placed really nicely up the ramp. So I really like that. And usually the tower is the perfect defense versus such pushes.
I'm sorry.
Oof.
I must have missed something. What happened to derStef's economy? Oh, I'm sorry. He brought the workers. Okay.
Yeah, he's pushing. I think I've seen that by Weird Red doing it to Square Root, just bringing the worker with you. So I think it's kind of all in though. So
that's very all in, super all in.
But I think don't underestimate the workers. They can. It
Archers
can work.
Should be kiting here. Yeah, I wish Guy was kiting with his archers more. He should be getting free hits here on these workers. But,
yeah, right now I think it looks really scary for Guy, honestly.
Well, it's 14 archers to 7 archers and 7 wolves. So, he's got a wolf for every archer. He's got a unit for every archer here. So I think there's actually enough production to overwhelm this force. And the worker surround. The worker surround is huge here. The workers are gonna just eat these archers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at that point
nice
it's
body
over.
blocking. Kind of cool body block by derStef here to stop the archers from attacking. But now this force is just gonna get bulldozed here.
Yeah. All right. So the idea, I guess, for derStef was no matter what Guy is doing, I'm gonna move over with a lot of workers and a huge archer wall. I think Weird Red does it in a pretty. I mean, it's kind of different because Weird Red usually keeps the archers at home, and he waits a bit longer until he moves out, and then the archer count is way
One
higher.
thing I will say is I feel like Guy needs more dens,
Yeah.
or just more production. Like maybe another barracks, another den. I mean, you can see his queues on his wolves. He's stacking 3 queues per den, which just means he's got extra gold to spare. He could like, there's no reason to be stuck on 3 production.
Yeah,
when you're facing this kind of all den.
Just 2 more dens wouldn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah, you just flood wolves because wolves kill archers, right? So if you have the count of wolves, this is much less of a problem, right?
derStef taking this third now very late.
Yeah, and these archers should all get caught by the wolves. Now, there's enough wolves. There's like a critical mass of wolves where the archers are just going to get eaten. And what Guy should be doing, it's hard because of the SimCity. He can just run behind the archers with the wolves, and then the archers come up behind, just like this. And then it's over.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, how many workers did derStef throw in? Like 12? I mean, he killed 11 workers as well, but he also lost 20 archers already. Soon to be 24. And yeah, the third base from Guy, very early or much earlier than derStef's, and the push not really working because the nice transition into wolves. I think if Guy would have stayed on Rex, maybe with the second Rex only, he would have had only archers, and I think then the push would have been more scary in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Pure
this
archer, yeah.
Yeah, this was like a build order loss. Or a game plan loss.
It is tricky though because sometimes when there's not enough wolves, the archers can just kind of pick away with them. I think we saw that in the game B-Sherm against Hydra. Sometimes if the wolves aren't at a critical mass, the archers kind of can out-micro them. So it really ends up being okay. Is there enough wolves to like get behind the archers and just surround them at that point?
Yeah, look at the CCs running in, and then he's kind of surrounding and standing right into the archers. He's staying with the wolves, and that's usually not what you want.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see some more high-level games from this Racks into Beast style. I'm actually not fully sold on it, just on a theoretical level, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe you take a look at the series between Square Root and Heffy. They played it.
Yeah, but that was did Heffy do that one Racks in the Ravaged game? Is that what he played? Because I remember it was 2 Racks against 2 Den 2 games in a row.
There was another series with Heffy where he played Raider opening into Beast. I don't know if it was AC or Yummy or I don't know Guinness. I don't know. Someone like just look up the game. There were a series where Heffy was playing it pretty much every game. Every 3 games, I think. So yeah, maybe that's something to take a look at.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, but I think this third base, I mean, Steff cannot really hold it. Like, he's producing from 3 racks. I think the income and stuff is okay, but he's too far behind already to really hold this one somehow.
Yeah, good macro from Guy here. He's taking that 4th base. He's getting dragons behind.
Yeah.
He's kept his worker count high. Could still be adding more workers here. He I think he knows that he's won, and he's kind of let up a little bit. There he goes. He gets kind of workers going back on. But yeah, this is really strong. And then the way that he's positioned with his archers is quite nice.
Yeah. I like his position of the wolves as well. Like, they are always surrounding the archers. I really like that.
Yeah, I think he could actually right-click the castle and send the wolves up top.
Yeah.
Push the archers back.
That would be nice, yeah.
Like, he could probably just right-click it right here, I think.
Yeah.
Which is gonna do, yep.
But it's okay. You can play it safe. I mean, he's ahead. He knows that. He doesn't need to throw something away. But yeah, right-clicking it now is final blow for the third. So, you see any way back for derStef into the game? Like, is there anything you think he can do to kind of claw back into this? Or is this like...
I think he needed to be way more aggressive about defending his third base. Like, pull workers, commit to something. I think you can't lose the third base there.
Okay.
At this point, there's no way back.
Alright, I see.
Unless Guy makes a big error. Because he's 2 base against 4 base. Like, that's really brutal. And he's even building an extra tower, which is like that. I will say I really like the workshop transition. I think if he had been able to get some catapults, that would have been able to allow him to defend his third easily.
Yeah.
And then Guy is in a kind of a weird place where I think this Archer Wolf falls off at a certain point. Like, it's not as useful mid to late game. The Archers, I think, are eventually just going to kind of die for not that much usefulness.
Yeah.
Once you're facing, like, racks with catapults.
I like the Archer Ball micro from derStef. He's really, like, maximizing every hit an Archer can do and killing units off, and it's really nice. I mean, he's really great with archers, but I don't think this game can really go south now for Guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
he has
he
no
just needs
answer to the
continue.
dragons, right? Here come the dragons on the left side.
I think archers are, especially in these numbers, okay answer to dragons, but I think an advanced workshop is needed anyways. So.
Yeah, you have to have the advanced workshop. Even in the fight, Wolf Dragon is actually quite good against just pure archers too.
Yeah.
Because the dragons kind of sit behind the wolves and deal damage.
Yeah.
And you can juggle them back too, so you actually soak a lot of damage as well with the dragons. And obviously the mobility here is just
Guys doing it like you. You also have, at least you have. Sometimes you have two groups. Sometimes you have one group with dragons and then a group of army. And Guy is just doing it like you, hitting at two places at the same time. And yeah, with an archer ball you are not really able to walk around and defend everything. So there's definitely need to split, and then the archer was not as effective.
Yeah, Guy actually messed up a little bit. He should have gone to the main with his dragons, but it's not a big deal. Like
he was there for a short duration, but he left entirely, and you would have liked to fly him back.
The reason is, he didn't need to go back to the middle of the map. He should have just been attacking.
Yeah.
But I think he's a little worried about this. So derStef's just gonna go all in here, which kind of the right move actually, to be honest with you. Like, there's a world where Guy is like being lazy, is not macroing, and kind of gets run over maybe, but I mean that's very, very like
yeah, but he has to try, right? So
I like the sharking with the dragons picking off the catapult, doing good work there.
Good call. I mean, it's just very well played. Like he's surrounding this whole archer thing, or all the units from derStef now. I like it. I like it a lot.
One misplay from Guy is he really should have upgrades at this point. I mean, if you've got 18,000 gold and you're maxed out, like, no reason not to get 2 wolf testing labs going. But I mean, the game's already kind of over, so you kind of get to a point where you stop playing, I think, when you know that, like, I don't even really need to do anything and this game's over. So nice A move here. And this is where I'm talking about, like, Dragon Wolf is actually quite good against archers. Because the archers can't shoot the dragons. Like, they try to shoot the dragons, they get hugged by the wolves. If they try to kite back, the dragons are just shooting constantly, so it's pretty ugly for just pure archer against dragons wolf like this.
Yeah.
So that's game 1.
Pretty much, yeah. I'll just wait for
GG
for the GG from GuyInChat. From Chef, sorry. I think you're a bit ahead in the replays, but it's normal. GG, well played. Okay, perfect. Any afterthoughts on Guy's performance? Anything you think?
No, I think he handled it really well.
Yeah.
I think he handled it well. I think he dealt with that push, and that's kind of exactly what I sort of expected from derStef. But that doesn't mean it's super easy to handle, right? You have to have the right defense in place. So.
All right. So second game, we are on Xenos. In general, what do you think of the maps in general in the map pool in Pro League? Is it balanced, or you think it's, I don't know, maybe mech favored, or?
No, I'm pretty happy with all the maps.
Except Stronghold Fabius, I guess.
No, not necessarily. I actually think that map is quite interesting looking. I haven't played on it at all, so it's one of those things where, like, when you have a lot of vetoes, and you're like focusing on just being safe and, like, kind of grinding out results, you kind of just avoid maps that. It's actually kind of funny because sometimes you'd actually want to veto something like Ravaged because you don't want your opponent to have like a small, tight map.
Yeah.
But generally, like I end up vetoing the maps I'm less familiar with just to kind of avoid any kind of special prep that someone might come out with. So this is actually a map, and people always talk about it, where it's pretty good for cheese because of the 3 paths.
Yeah.
So
But
it's a little bit
also-
scary playing on this map.
Yeah, I
for
think
a Pro League type map.
Yeah, I think Xenos is also kind of beast favored, right? If you can kill the if you have longer games and you play beast and you are able to all kill the forges left and right, the other player is not really able to cross in the middle any time because you can always just flood in with the wolves from left
I'm
and
not
right.
really sure. Honestly, not really sure whether I'd consider it beast favored. It's also a little bit small. It's a short rustage distance, so like 2 base pushes are quite strong on this map. Even like pushing the 3rd is quite strong. Like it's a pretty short map, so like catapults can get across.
I see.
So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I think good players can make. I think it's balanced. Is honestly what I would say. I think it's a good map and it's actually balanced. I think there's things to abuse with Beast, but there's also things that as Rax you can tighten up. Rax or Cat. Like I don't mind playing mech on this map either. I think it's quite good for mech as well. So
yeah, I know that
interesting
is
opening though. By the way,
yes,
getting
100%.
here.
100%. I mean, what would you rather do? Like what Steph is doing, or the 2 den but at home from Guy?
I think
what
the
do you
2 den
think?
at home is a solid build. I think it's good if you feel like your opponent's going to cheese you. It's quite safe. It can macro. You can transition into it. Like even against one Rax play, a lot of times I find you look at the gold, like you look at the gold mine, and you're like, oh, the 2 den player's not even that behind in gold. Personally, I think what derStef is doing is actually pretty terrible.
Why? What's the big downside? Not having units?
He's built 2 towers. He's got an expansion up, but he's gonna be so far behind in units. I mean, he's up against. I mean, Guy's gonna get his castle up in a decent timing. And if you look at the units, actually, derStef is only 1 worker up. So he's gonna mine a little bit at a higher income with just 2 workers here. But he can't really transfer too easily. He's gonna take damage if he tries to transfer.
Yeah.
And yeah, Guy can just kind of macro here.
Yeah, I would take fine. Yeah, I would take an early 3rd if I would be Guy, and just
exactly
contain
yeah
derStef, because he will have less units like all game long. And right now he will always have less units, less wolves, less everything. And therefore taking a 3rd or maybe even a 4th base, I mean, why not? Like derStef cannot do anything. Except maybe something with air and airships, but even that you can scout it, because look at Guy, he's already having 1 wolf up there at the main, so he knows what's up. Okay, a 3rd den, maybe we see 4 dens, and then the production can be overwhelming for Guy, but so far I don't see any.
Yeah, I mean Guy can keep producing wolves. So Guy's going for the 2 base dragon. Actually don't love this choice because the towers are already there.
Yeah.
I think what you said about the greedy 3rd is actually perfect response.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this works out. I mean, dragons are always good to get to. Nothing wrong with that either, most of the time.
Yeah, in general, you like dragons a lot, right? I think I have never seen a game where you don't play dragons at some point.
Yeah, dragons are great. Dragons are definitely great. Not without downside, obviously, but they're quite good.
Yeah, I think they are hard to control. For me, that's just flying cows. They are so slowly, and they have this kind of
like
acceleration
the
thing.
Second fastest unit in the game, man.
After gyros.
Yeah, I guess after gyros, and they're slightly slower than airships, but they're as fast as you get in Little War Game, pretty much. They're sports cars.
I'm not complaining. I like them as well, but in general, versus especially what you mentioned with the 2 towers up already. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make them work.
The biggest downside of dragons is you can invest a ton of gold into them, and then just get hard countered by ballistas, and you can just be behind because you've invested so much. Like getting this castle so fast and the lair, I mean that's a lot of gold, and it's more expensive to get dragons than to get ballista. You know.
I see.
So, but that being said, derStef is just going for Mass Wolf. So the dragons are going to be quite nice, I think.
Yeah, and
will-
also derStef seems to be ahead now because he has more workers, like 4 more workers, and also the count of wolves. I mean, 4 wolves less, but when they are all out, it's not that much of a difference. Not sure why
and this
derStef
is
is building a
where
house there, but okay.
this is where the expensiveness of that dragon comes in, because you're building the fortress so early that cuts a lot of your worker production. Guy was already a little behind in production, so yeah, this is actually looking pretty scary for GuyInChat at this point. But it's all going to come down to the dragons. The dragons have to do some work here.
Yeah, I guess they come in clutch because the lair is close to finished. And then I think we're gonna see a fight. I can imagine Steff pushing. He's already moving kinda in the direction, but he's also trying to get a third up. And I think if he's not getting a tower here immediately, the dragons will have a pretty easy target to harass.
Yeah, but this is the problem with going dragons into what derStef is doing is your first 2 to 3 dragons, or even like 1 to 2, don't do anything against the tower bases. So you don't really have, and Guy's he's not really rich enough to build a ton of dragons either. Like, he's actually pretty poor right now.
And look at Steff, he's also going in for a fortress now. Interesting. So we will have wolves and dragons versus wolves and dragons. Nice.
Yeah. If derStef can get up to lair production, it's going to be really, really tough for Guy, because Guy's just so far behind in eco here. But it's going to really come down to this third base. I think Guy needs to like rally to the third base with his dragons.
Yeah.
And if he can stop towers from going up and maybe pressure with his own wolf count, that's the one advantage he has, because derStef's invested in this castle.
Also the house there
and that castle. Yeah.
And then, I mean, he's building the tower, but yeah, let's see if it's going to get up or not.
Yeah, so the income cap is brutal here. It's around 4,000 gold for Guy. It's 4,000, almost 4,500 for derStef.
Yeah,
so
Steff is
close
ahead.
to 500 gold. Yeah, close to 500 gold ahead for Steff.
So very interesting to see how it goes. Like, if the, I can imagine the dragons are being made, are doing all the difference. And I think the tower is getting up, right? Yeah, the tower is getting up. So
go with his dragons though. He has to. Yeah, the tower's up.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So he kind of hides them. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he's hiding them, but like he's gonna be up against double lair. So derStef is richer. He really should be able to overtake the single lair production from Guy. Guy's gonna expand, but he's already now he's gonna get even farther behind on the gold mine. That's a tough game so far for GuyInChat.
Yeah.
Just strategically, I feel like Guy actually hasn't done much, but he hasn't responded to what derStef has done really properly in my view, at least.
Yeah, I think the third is down for GuyInChat. Maybe not the drakes. Yeah, the drakes will help.
Now this is where this is key moment. He needs to catch these wolves and kill everything, which he actually might do. What is derStef doing?
Ooh, derStef not looking. Ooh, not looking. Oh no, not looking. They tried to run away, but they are. Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, it's still 22 wolves to 22 though. Guy needs to aggressively chase this wolf pack. He needs to aggressively try to surround it.
And there's the third lane coming up for Steff as well. Oof. Yeah. Would you like? When you would be Steff now, would you put down an advanced workshop now?
Yeah, I totally would. Okay. I think advanced workshop is just always the move in Dragon vs Dragon, but Guy actually needs it even more because he only has the single lair.
But Guy doesn't know what's happening. He didn't scout the lane and nothing. So, okay, now we see 3 dragons going into the third. Not sure if the tower really helps here.
It does a little bit. I really wish that Guy had brought his wolves to attack the third, actually. A small pack of wolves would actually eat this tower really quickly.
Yep.
With the dragon support. Yep. Now Guy sees the dragons, so he's going to have to respond either with more lairs. Okay, he has a second lair coming. Or Ballista, which I think he should actually probably do Ballista.
Yeah, I think in Dragon Mirror you always want to have Ballista and airships. And it comes down to who kills the airship and the Ballista first.
So big mistake from derStef, he's not mining from his third base. That's huge. Not sure if he's
Oh,
afraid or if that's just a mistake.
yeah. I think he just forgot that he sent them to the to the second.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake. He's also
Yeah,
brutally supply blocked at 100.
yeah. derStef is kind of busy with something, but I'm not too sure what. Because
We
he's
had a
not.
big wolf skirmish.
Ah,
I didn't quite follow it, but there was a big wolf skirmish happening at the bottom of the map.
I see.
And a couple more wolves just kind of sitting here for this derStef. Okay, this wolf count is big, very scary. Where
For
is
Guy.
Yeah, for both. Yeah, actually, it's pretty even, but
Yeah,
I
I think the
missed
third
that
base.
there was a ton of wolves underneath the dragons here. So actually, derStef is fine. I thought he lost his wolves, but he actually has them here.
Yeah, but his response to the aggression or the attack on the third base is a bit slow, and maybe, yeah, maybe that's a big fight. First dragon for Guy goes not down, survives with 20 HP, but Guy losing a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff. So there's Steph chasing, still no advanced workshop, right? On neither side.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is kind of the mark of less experienced players. I see this a lot where like newer players or players that don't play as much they just kind of get tunnel visioned on what they're doing and kind of forget about the advanced workshop. It's a little bit more of a technical advanced way to play to get the advanced workshop, so a lot of players will just stick on upgrades and Wolf Dragon.
Yeah. But on the upgrade side of things, both players actually take care of that. And interesting choice that Steph is also getting the sprint update. No, it's just the other symbol. I just confused it with the normal attack upgrade. Okay, so 3-base versus 3-base, and the game is pretty even. I would say that's great for GuyInChat, honestly, because he was really behind for some time, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, he's managed to catch up a little bit in gold mined, I think, from kind of those workers not mining efficiently and a couple of worker kills. And then the units lost is very even, so it's a really even game right now.
Like that. Even games are the best. So every little thing you do counts. So supply-wise, Jeff is kind of ahead with 10 supply plus, but that's not really. It's not really saying much. Like in this stage of the game.
A lot of that supplies in wolves. Yeah, a lot of that supplies in wolves. Both players need to kind of start cutting wolf production here because you don't want. You want to make room for your dragons. You need to cut wolves to make sure you have your maxed out dragon army.
Yeah, but Steph, and if you take a look at Steph, he's down in worker, but therefore he has more wolves and more dragons. So I think
beautiful. GuyInChat has decided he wants to win. He's making an advanced workshop.
Yes, finally.
derStef has decided that he doesn't want to win, not building an advanced workshop. So.
But getting a 4th base.
Yeah, 4th is nice. 4th is nice move here.
And also, I noticed Steph is not really producing from all 3 dens at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think 3 dens is 3 layers is a bit. Yeah, but 3 layers is a bit of. I don't know. It's a bit too much. You know what I mean? Like 2 layers are completely fine. You don't want to go too heavy into this production of dragons because you cannot really resupply them as fast as wolves, for example, where it's making sense to have 6 dens or something. But big fight going down, and I think right now they have equal amount of dragons, but the player flying away is oftentimes the player losing a dragon or 2. And yeah, we see it.
Yeah, I don't know why Guy's running here. I think it's just hard to judge these fights, but he definitely can take this fight.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of would just like him just to kind of go in here. A couple of dragons are pretty hurt, and he has a ballista on the way. So if he can make his way backwards a little bit and get his ballista damage going, big.
Interesting choice, by the way, of the players to get the upgrades. Once Steph is getting the attack upgrades and Guy is getting the armor upgrades.
Yep.
Very, very funny.
I think conventional wisdom is attack is better, but I don't actually know the numbers behind it. So.
Such a shame. Guy's ballista cannot reach anymore. And now Steph is kind of leaving his wolves behind for some reason. I don't know why. He's just... What is he doing? Why is he suiciding all the wolves? Does that make any sense?
He just didn't think he could get them out, or maybe just didn't see them. Hard to see what's happening when there's so many dragons covering your screen. But yeah, probably could have ran those away.
Yeah.
Now, big advantage for Guy though, 144 to 110.
Yeah.
14 to 10 dragons, and Guy has the ballista. Black powder's almost gonna finish.
Yeah. But maybe Steff can just right-click the ballista down. I think with this amount of dragons, you can really quickly do so. But also, I think
Yeah,
then
but
he's...
even doing so though, at that point, you take so much damage from the enemy dragons, and Guy will probably get one black powder shot off, which is kind of all you need to win the fight.
Yeah. I see.
You get one AoE hit and just damage like all these dragons, and then your dragons clean up.
Yeah. It's all about this one fight. I think that's the final fight. One dragon down for Steff. And yeah, he cannot really engage because of this one ballista. It's absolutely insane what one ballista is doing. But also, I mean, Steff could have... Ooh, there was the shot.
Yep.
And another dragon goes down. And the ballista is still alive. I mean, the cooldown will reset, and then there will be another AoE shot, and another dragon dies. Yeah, Steff transferring all the workers out of the 4th base. I think I would just fly over with my dragons and hit the base from Guy, because there's no ballista. But maybe wouldn't make any difference.
The problem for Guy right now is he's already just down in dragon count. So like the ballista is kind of what let Guy win that fight, but at this point it doesn't even matter because he can just chase him with his full dragons. And if you go across the map, now Guy can just cut him off with his own dragons. If he angles down to the south, which he doesn't do, he kind of misses his opportunity there. So when you're fighting in Dragon Wars, it really becomes like a geometry thing where you have to make sure wherever you attack, you need an escape route. You don't want to get cut off, because the second you get cut off, the game's just over. If you get caught in the wrong position. So Guy kind of messed up his angles. He should have been going more south instead of this to the right side. He kind of missed the pack. So nice kind of rotation from derStef to get out of there.
Yeah. Really, really equal game. Even though derStef just lost the 4th base, I think it's still very equal, which is very interesting.
Yeah, equal, but I mean, that's because like Guy's max, so he can't. His army isn't getting any better really. So derStef is eventually going to kind of catch up. derStef also has upgrades 2+2+1 against just +0+2, so slight upgrade advantage, which is nice. Yeah.
And now we see the big dragon wars in the middle, but the ballista is already looming around and kind of waiting for its moment.
Yeah. So Guy needs to suicide some wolves. Like, he's maxed out here, and he's got all these wolves that are doing pretty much nothing. They're 2 supply each. Ballista are much better than wolves at this point. Like, imagine you like take half these wolves and turn them into ballista.
Yeah.
and airships too. Like, you want a couple airships for mobility.
Yeah.
These wolves are kind of useless. Like, you could even start getting like werewolves at this point, catapults at this point. Like, there's other tech that you want to add into. The wolves are kind of bad. I would just like send them. I mean, I would be fine if he just sends them in and literally suicides them, or kills them himself. Honestly,
yeah, I would send the wolves in and kind of trade them for workers. I think that's the right thing to do if you have to trade units, and especially if it's
trade
wolves.
them for workers. You can right click them on towers. Like, you can probably eat a tower or two.
Yeah,
like at the 3rd base.
Yeah, any damage literally, and you just trade them. I think I get it.
Now this
but look at
Steff.
Steff is still building the wolves. Like, he's not sold on this dragon idea.
Yeah, it's interesting because he kind of needs ground though, right? Because
the ballista,
he needs to fight the ballista.
Yeah,
he needs really something to deal with the ballista.
Yeah.
So
that's the main.
This is where these wolves are okay-ish for Guy just to defend his own ballistas, especially since he doesn't have dropships. But he has so much money. I'd rather he get werewolves. I think at this point, I love though this workshop.
The 2
additional
more
workshops.
Yeah, the 2 more workshops.
That's huge.
If he can get like good. 4 ballista or something, he can just walk over the map, and derStef will not be able to fight him at all.
Little mistake from Guy not securing his next bases. Like, there's no reason why you don't have your next 2 bases up at this point. But you know, he's kind of already won. So
well, not yet. I think right now derStef could look for a fight and kill the ballista and win the fight in the air as well.
I do take that back, and in fact, so this is one of those things where like Guy is kind of letting derStef back in the game. I mean, he had a 50 supply advantage.
Yeah.
And he kind of just stopped attacking, and I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he thought he couldn't take the towers, but he also had the wolf count, so like the wolves could have eaten the towers.
Yeah, I think
and now
was just misjudging.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Like, he's
inexperienced.
still pretty far ahead just because of the gold bank and the ballistas. But imagine if derStef actually had ballistas here. Suddenly this is kind of a different game.
And yeah, the 4th base is down now. So derStef losing the 4th base, and yeah, all these dragons are nice, but I mean, he could... Honestly, I think he could just fly in, and with caps, just kill the 2 ballista and fly away again. Like
100%. No, you have to do that. There's you've kind of put all your eggs into this 2/2 dragon basket.
Yeah.
Now, counterattacking is not bad since you have so many dragons and your opponent has ballista supply. Like, yeah, counterattacking is also not bad here. But this triple advanced workshop is huge because Guy can just refill with ballistas.
Yeah, I think that's the plan now. Losing something and yeah. But also, look at this. Guy is only mining from 1 base right now with all his workers. And on the other side, the other new base is cancelled. And
oh yeah, these wolves from derStef totally cleaned up the top.
It's really close, my god. Look at this. And derStef actually, with so little workers left, just mines perfectly from the last remaining base. So it's 1 base versus 1 base right now. I really liked it. But a lot of towers at the last base. Like, how many are there?
Yes,
4,
plenty of towers there. Which again, another mistake from Guy. He should be towering this other 2 gold mines here. Like, there's no reason not to tower over here. You don't need this many just here.
Yeah.
This is okay. He still got the money to rebuild. Like, even though he's only mining at 1 base, he's got enough money to resecure bases where derStef is pretty broke.
But derStef also forgetting the units in his natural.
So this is kind of just one of those things where players are a little more inexperienced. I don't think Guy realizes how important it is for him to get airships and ballista here.
Yeah.
He's just happy with this random squad of wolves, but it's actually really hindering his composition because he's up against pure dragon at this point.
Yeah, and look at
it's 27 to 17. So actually, those 22 wolves could lose Guy the game at this point if he's not careful. Because that is literally the reason he's losing.
Look at the number of workers he has. Like, he has 29 workers and he has 1 base he's mining from.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, the workers are fine because you want those, but the wolves are, like, actively losing him the game here. Like, actively terrible.
Yeah. And on the other side, we see 30, like, really 30, a 3 and a 0 amount of dragons. Like, that's absolutely insane. And I think if Stef would just hit now, he could just right-click the ballistas, and after he would still win the battle versus the dragons.
And these are 3/3 dragons, by the way. So these are, again, 0/0 ballistas. So there does start to get a point where, as the upgrades get really, really good, the ballista without upgrades are less of an I win button than they used to be. So, yeah, Guy's actually, he's actually thrown this, almost fully thrown this. I think this is enough dragons to magic box the 2 ballista, like you were saying, and then just wipe the rest of the dragons.
Yeah, because it's literally 1 volley. Like, 1 volley from all these dragons kills 1 ballista. That's like 2 seconds and 2 ballistas dead.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Good move from derStef. He's going to try to kill the advanced workshops, which is, I think, the right play here. Totally right play.
Yeah. But he's also flying away, and I would not do that. And now Guy is dropping the ballistas.
No, he has to go. He has to A. Oh, goodness. It's still 27 to 15. I mean, I don't think derStef is realizing how much of an advantage he has here. Like, he can just A move this.
Yeah. He can, but first kill the ballista and then A move. But look at this.
And you can even just grab like half of these dragons to right click it and then A move with the rest, not to waste too much damage. But what he has to do, what derStef has to do right now is he can't let Guy refill on ballista, because 2 ballista, you know, when it's 15 against 15, 2 ballista is great, but when it's 30, 2 ballista, you need more like 4, you know?
Yeah. And Guy is already in the process of getting them, but he's still supply block. But as soon as when these 2 houses finish, he's gonna get ballista, and then
now the dragons are trapped. You have to move your derStef being sloppy with his movement. He should have been moving to the right here, but what is he doing? He just has to go.
He has to kill the ballista. I'm not sure what Stef is doing.
I guess he's trying to kill the wolves, but who cares about the wolves? It's the dragons that matter here.
Exactly.
Why are 10 dragons chasing 30 dragons? What am I watching?
Yeah.
He has to spread too. Like, this is so clumped.
And now he cannot see the ballista. And he's flying away. Oh, Lord. Why are you flying away, Steph? Ooh, don't do this. Ooh, look at this damage from the ballistas.
Oh, the ballista's gonna do so much AoE here. Oh, this is brutal.
Oh, Steph just losing all the... He's not killing the ballistas. They are just free-firing.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It hurts. It hurts to see that. It really hurts.
Yeah, now they're gonna refill on their black powder.
Yeah. And now they just shoot 2 more times and then all the dragons are done. Oh my god. We watched 10 minutes where Steph was so far ahead and he had all he needs to just win the game right away. And he just refused to do it. And now the point is reached where he cannot do anything anymore.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is probably showing... I don't think derStef has played as much Dragon versus Dragon, because it's kind of a funny... It's a weird mini game, Dragon versus Dragon. And you really need experience playing a lot of those type of games to understand like the control needed, how snowbally it is, the kind of movement you need. And I don't think derStef really has played enough of those type of games, because it's a different game.
Ballista.
Yeah. Now Guy has freed up his supply.
Yeah.
And now he has the ballistas he needs.
Yeah, and another ballista waiting. Oh, and another ballista waiting. Oh, they're flying right into the ballistas, already positioned in a nice way from Guy.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where the triple advanced workshop is so
strong.
strong.
Yeah. 100%. GG.
Nice game. That was a good game, though. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Back and forth, for sure.
Yeah, very, very close as well. Didn't expect to see Dragon Wars from newer players. But yeah, so we did. Nice series in general.
Yep. Very, very close. I think derStef really had good... Like, both players had good chances in that second game at different points in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I remember I said, you build the advanced workshop, you win Dragon versus Dragon. And the player that built the ballistas ended up just having the easier time of it.
Yeah.
Look at these two ballista. One has 3 kills, one has 4 kills.
Yeah, and
and I don't think those are the first ones he built.
Yeah. And it's just derStef was so afraid of ballista and engaging in general, not realizing how far ahead he was. But it's also kind of hard to guess if you just see like a huge ball of dragons.
No, yeah, it is.
So
but like if you're maxed and all you have is dragons, like you don't really have a choice then to fight. Because it's like if you run away, you're just gonna lose anyway. So
the player running away.
Biggest mistake, honestly, was not only running away but also his spread. Like you should have your whole screen spread of dragons. Like you can put like 3 control groups.
Yeah.
And then just like magic box them in, you know.
Yeah.
And then the both ballista and the dragon AoE aren't going to kill you as quickly. And your dragons can actually fight. So just miscontrol there in the north, I think, is what decided this game.
Yeah, just a bit more practice for these guys with dragons, and then they're good. I think next time they play in a similar situation, especially if they watch the video, they will definitely be more scary for everyone who's their opponent then in that situation. Because right now, with all the tips from you, especially you, because you're like one of the best dragon players I know, so I think the next time they will definitely play different and just do what you suggested. So
it's interesting though, because just something to note about Little Wargame in general is like at the highest level, that is where these little micro moves matter so much. So like a player like derStef or Guy will win most of the games just because of macro. But then there's just these little like mini games, like certain interactions need to be perfectly done, like Dragon versus Ballista, you know, Raider versus Wolf. Like there's all these very, very fine margin mini games that you have to understand, like that precise aspect of Little Wargame if you're going to play that exact style, you know. And a lot of players don't have experience with these, you know, very specific situations.
And there your role comes into play, or your job as a team lead comes into play, because that's where you are shine, because you have all the experience, you play this game for ages, and you can really pinpoint down their errors if they send you replays. So that's the great thing about ProLeague, and maybe you can do that, and can kind of help them if you're not too busy. But
Yeah,
of
for
course,
sure.
real life is more important than Little Wargame or Pro League. But yeah, that's in general the idea of Pro League, and I think so far it really works. I think only Niget has some kind of issues and is very busy with stuff. But besides that, I think everyone is really improving and doing stuff. So I really like this Pro League season so
Yeah,
far.
it's been good.
Yeah,
I love to see Guy getting a couple wins. That was a huge series for our team for
yeah,
versus Beat Flits. Like that's a 3-0. That was I think our maybe our only 3-0 in the series. So that was a huge kind of swinging point for that match.
yeah. Kudos to GuyInChat though, really showing off here. But also derStef, I think there's like only a very tiny improvement needed. Some things need to improve, and then he's on a whole another level, and then he's way scarier than he is right now. Like his final
Yeah,
form is reached. So I think there's just give him 2-3 more weeks, and he's just as scary
yeah.
and wiping everyone playing like the guy in chat right now in this series on with the floor. Like
Yeah, I think this series could have easily been 2-1,
yeah,
just based on that last game. Like it
yeah,
could have gone 2-1 either way. I think the first game, like clearly, just the game plans didn't really
yeah. That was
swing
built on a
guy
loss, kinda.
derStef's way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Um, but yeah, the second game I think could have gone 100% either way. That was a very 50-50
Yeah, but
game.
I enjoyed it. So thanks for joining today. So yeah, have a great one, Slimmer. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Enjoyed it.